Imagine a world where the American dream doesn't stop at America's borders, where countries across the globe, some allies, some rivals, are actively shaping their futures in the image of the United States. They're not just copying style, they're copying strategy, military, education, innovation, even pop culture. So here's the million-dollar question. If they don't love America, why are they trying to be America? Let's uncover the truth about the nations that are, piece by piece, becoming the next version of the United States. We begin with a country that turned oil wealth into global ambition, the United Arab Emirates. Just 50 years ago, the UAE was largely desert, sparse infrastructure, minimal international presence. But today, cities like Dubai and Abu Dhabi are some of the most advanced and luxurious metropolises in the world. Their transformation was no accident. It was modeled, deliberately, on the American formula. Dubai was designed with the same mindset as New York and Los Angeles. High-rise living, multinational headquarters, tourism powerhouses, cultural fusion hubs. They've adopted English as a dominant language, built American-style malls, embraced Western education, and even attract Hollywood-level entertainment. But here's what most people miss: the UAE's soft power strategy. They host global events like Expo 2020, develop space programs like NASA, they sent a probe to Mars, and build world-class universities in partnership with American institutions like New York University. They want more than skyscrapers. They want to shape global culture, just like the USA. Now shift your eyes to India, the world's most populous democracy. India isn't just growing, it's transforming. And behind the scenes, many of its moves are modeled after the US. Think about this. America has Silicon Valley. India has Bangalore, known as the Silicon Valley of Asia. The US is a film powerhouse with Hollywood. India's Bollywood is now producing content for international audiences, sometimes even surpassing Hollywood in volume. America exports culture through tech giants. India's doing the same with Infosys, Wipro, Tata, and now Jio platforms, which has partnered with Google and Facebook. Even in military terms, India is growing its presence, building naval power in the Indian Ocean, participating in the Quad Alliance with the US, Japan, and Australia, and purchasing American aircraft and defense systems. And in foreign policy, India's becoming more assertive. They've started using economic pressure and soft power in Africa and South Asia, just like America. They're creating a modern superpower with democratic values, innovation at the center, and culture as a global export. That's straight from the American playbook. But what about China? Now, this is where it gets complex. China publicly positions itself as a counterbalance to the US, a separate ideology, a different system. Yet, ironically, China may be America's biggest admirer. Economic model? They moved from communist-style planning to market-oriented reforms. Thanks in part to studying the US urban design, China's mega-cities now resemble American cities with shopping malls, highways, and high-rise condos. Tech ambition? China created its own equivalents of Google, Amazon, and Facebook, Baidu, Alibaba, Tencent. But the model? American to the core. And let's not forget China's global military expansion, developing aircraft carriers, building overseas military bases in Africa and the Indian Ocean, expanding influence through the Belt and Road Initiative. They're copying the US Cold War-era strategy. Military reach plus economic development equals influence. Even culturally, China is investing heavily in film, music, and fashion exports. Their soft power push is growing, yet they continue to criticize the West. Why? Because admiring America's success doesn't mean accepting its dominance. China wants to surpass the US by adapting its strengths, then rewriting the rules of global leadership. But these aren't the only countries. Brazil is trying to expand its soft power through music, sports, and entertainment, like the US did with jazz and Hollywood. Turkey sees itself as a regional hegemon, like the US in the Western Hemisphere. Even Nigeria, Africa's biggest economy, is positioning Lagos as a tech and cultural hub for the continent. Everywhere you look, countries are racing to build what the US already has: a strong military, a powerful, exportable culture, an innovation ecosystem, a financial and political influence network. So what does this mean for the real United States? First, it confirms one thing: the American model still works. People may critique the US, its politics, its media, its foreign policy, but behind closed doors, many nations are imitating its blueprint. They want the same results: prosperity, power, and global respect. But it also means America must evolve, because these nations aren't just copying, they're competing. In a world where other countries are building their own versions of America, the US has to stay ahead by pushing boundaries in science, diplomacy, education, and culture. Because imitation might be flattery, but it's also a warning. So now we ask you, what do you think? Is the rise of these new Americas a good thing? Could they help bring global stability or spark a new kind of rivalry? Which country do you think is secretly trying hardest to be the next United States? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share if you love exploring the hidden influence of America around the world. Until next time, keep questioning, keep watching, and keep imagining the future.